Implementing Rules and Regulations IRR of Republic Act No. 9165, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. These rules and regulations are hereby promulgated to implement the provisions of Republic Act No. 9165, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Section 1. This IRR, issued and promulgated pursuant to Section 94 of RA 9165, shall be referred to as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Rules of 2002. Section 2. Declaration of Policy. It is the policy of the state to safeguard the integrity of its territory and the well-being of its citizenry, particularly the youth, from the harmful effects of dangerous drugs on their physical and mental well-being, and to defend the same against acts or omissions detrimental to their development and preservation. In view of the foregoing, the state needs to enhance further the efficacy of the law against dangerous drugs, it being one of today's more serious social ills. Toward this end, the government shall pursue an intensive and unrelenting campaign against the trafficking and use of dangerous drugs and other similar substances through an integrated system of planning, implementation, and enforcement of anti-drug abuse policies, programs, and projects. The government shall, however, aim to achieve a balance in the National Drug Control Program so that people with legitimate medical needs are not prevented from being treated with adequate amounts of appropriate medications, which include the use of dangerous drugs. It is further declared the policy of the state to provide effective mechanisms or measures to reintegrate into society individuals who have fallen victims to drug abuse or dangerous drug dependence through sustainable programs of treatment and rehabilitation. Article 1. Definition of terms. Section 3. Definitions. As used in this IRR, the following terms shall mean: A. Accreditation. The formal authorization issued by the Department of Health, DOH, to one individual, partnership, corporation, or association to operate a laboratory and rehabilitation facility after compliance with the standards set at a maximum achievable level to stimulate improvement over time. B. AK refers to Republic Act No. 9165. C. Administer. Any act of introducing any dangerous drugs into the body of any person, with or without his/her knowledge, by injection, inhalation, ingestion, or other means, or of committing any act of indispensable assistance to a person in administering a dangerous drug to himself/herself, unless administered by a duly licensed practitioner for purposes of medication. D. Board or DDB refers to the Dangerous Drugs Board under Section 77, Article 9 of the Act. E. Center. Any of the treatment and rehabilitation centers which undertake the treatment, aftercare, and follow-up treatment of drug dependence as referred to in Section 75, Article 8 of the Act. It includes institutions, agencies, and the like whose purposes are the development of skills, arts, and technical know-how, counseling, and/or inculcating civic, social, and moral values to drug patients, with the aim of weaning them away from dangerous drugs and keeping them drug-free, adapted to their families and peers, and readjusted into the community as law-abiding, useful, and productive citizens. F. Chemical diversion. The sale, distribution, supply, or transport of legitimately imported, in transit, manufactured, or procured controlled precursors and essential chemicals in diluted, mixtures, or in concentrated form to any person or entity engaged in the manufacture of any dangerous drug, and shall include packaging, repackaging, labeling, or concealment of such transaction through fraud, destruction of documents, fraudulent use of permits, misdeclaration, use of front companies, or mail fraud. G. Clandestine Laboratory. Any facility used for the illegal manufacture of any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical. H. Confinement. Refers to the residential treatment and rehabilitation of trainees, clients, and patients in a center. I. Confirmatory Test. An analytical test using a device, tool, or equipment with a different chemical or physical principle that is more specific, which will validate and confirm the result of the screening test. It refers to the second or further analytical procedure to more accurately determine the presence of dangerous drugs in a specimen. J. Controlled delivery. The investigative technique of allowing an unlawful or suspect consignment of any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical, equipment, or paraphernalia, or property believed to be derived directly or indirectly from any offense to pass into, through, or out of the country under the supervision of an authorized officer with a view to gathering evidence to identify any person involved in any dangerous drug-related offense or to facilitate of that offense. K. Controlled precursors and essential chemicals. Include those listed in Tables 1 and 2 of the 1988 UN Convention Against Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances as enumerated in the attached annex, which is an integral part of the Act. L. Cultivate or culture. Any act of knowingly planting, growing, raising, or permitting the planting, growing, or raising of any plant which is the source of a dangerous drug. M. DOH-Accredited Physician. Refers to a physician with background experience on psychological behavioral medicine whose application has been approved and duly authorized by the DOH to conduct dependency examination on persons believed to be using dangerous drugs. N. Dangerous drugs. Include those listed in the schedules annexed to the 1961 Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs as amended by the 1972 Protocol and in the schedules annexed to the 1971 Single Convention on Psychotropic Substances as enumerated in the attached annex, which is an integral part of the Act. O. Deliver. Any act of knowingly passing a dangerous drug to another, personally or otherwise, and by any means, with or without consideration. P. Den. Dive or resort. A place where any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical is administered, delivered, stored for legal purposes, distributed, sold, or used in any form. Q. Dispense. Any act of giving away, selling, or distributing medicine or any dangerous drug with or without the use of prescription. R. Drug dependence. As based on the World Health Organization definition, it is a cluster of physiological, behavioral, and cognitive phenomena of variable intensity in which the use of psychoactive drug takes on a high priority, thereby involving, among others, a strong desire or a sense of compulsion to take the substance and the difficulties in controlling substance-taking behavior in terms of its onset, termination, or levels of use. S. Drug dependent refers to a person suffering from drug dependence. T. Drug syndicate. Any organized group of two or more persons forming or joining together with the intention of committing any offense prescribed under the Act. U. Employee of den, dive, or resort. The caretaker, helper, watchman, lookout, and other persons working in the den, dive, or resort employed by the maintainer, owner, and/or operator where any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical is administered, delivered, distributed, sold, or used with or without compensation in connection with the operation thereof. V. Financier. Any person who pays for, raises or supplies money for, or underwrites any of the illegal activities prescribed under the Act. W. Illegal trafficking. The illegal cultivation, culture, delivery, administration, dispensation, manufacture, sale, trading, transportation, distribution, importation, exportation, and possession of any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical. X. Income. Revenues generated minus the expenses incurred by health facilities in providing health services for the drug dependents. Y. Instrument. Anything that is used or intended to be used in any manner in the commission of illegal drug trafficking or related offenses. Z. Laboratory. Refers to the facility of a private or government agency that is capable of testing a specimen to determine the presence of dangerous drugs therein. Subsection AA. Laboratory equipment, the paraphernalia, apparatuses, materials or appliances when used, intended for use or designed for use in the manufacture of any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical, such as reaction vessel, preparative purifying equipment, fermentors, separatory funnel, flask, heating mantle, gas generator, or their substitute. Subsection BB. Manufacture. The production, preparation, compounding, or processing of any dangerous drug and/or controlled precursor and essential chemical, either directly or indirectly or by extraction from substances of natural origin, or independently by means of chemical synthesis or by a combination of extraction and chemical synthesis, and shall include any packaging or repackaging of such substances, design or configuration of its form, or labeling or relabeling of its container, except that such terms do not include the preparation, compounding, packaging, or labeling of a drug or other substances by a duly authorized practitioner as an incident to his/her administration or dispensation of such drug or substance in the course of his/her professional practice, including research, teaching, and chemical analysis of dangerous drugs or such substances that are not intended for sale or for any other purpose. Subsection CC. Cannabis, or commonly known as marijuana, or Indian hemp, or by its any other name, embraces every kind, class, genus, or species of the plant Cannabis sativa L, including, but not limited to, Cannabis americana, hashish, bang, guaza, churus, and ganjab, and embraces every kind, class, and character of marijuana, whether dried or fresh and flowering or fruiting tops, or any part or portion of the plant and seeds thereof, and all its geographic varieties, whether as a reefer, resin, extract, tincture, or in any form whatsoever. Subsection DD. Methylene dioxymethamphetamine, MDMA, or commonly known as ecstasy, or by its any other name, refers to the drug having such chemical composition, including any of its isomers or derivatives in any form. Subsection EE. Methamphetamine hydrochloride, or commonly known as shabu, ice, meth, or by its any other name, refers to the drug having such chemical composition, including any of its isomers or derivatives in any form. Subsection FF. Opium, refers to the coagulated juice of the opium poppy, Papaver somniferum L, and embraces every kind, class, and character of opium, whether crude or prepared, the ashes or refuse of the same, narcotic preparations thereof or therefrom, morphine or any alkaloid of opium, preparations in which opium, morphine, or any alkaloid of opium enters as an ingredient, opium poppy straw, and leaves or wrappings of opium leaves, whether prepared for use or not. Subsection GG. Opium poppy refers to any part of the plant of the species Papaver somniferum L, Papaver setigerum DC, Papaver orientale, Papaver bracteatum, and Papaver roeas, which includes the seeds, straws, branches, leaves, or any part thereof, or substances derived therefrom, even for floral, decorative, and culinary purposes. Subsection HH, PDEA, PDEA, refers to the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency under Section 82, Article 9 of the Act. Subsection II, person, any entity, natural or juridical, including among others a corporation, partnership, trust or estate, joint stock company, association, syndicate, joint venture, or other unincorporated organization or group capable of acquiring rights or entering into obligations. Subsection JJ, planting of evidence, the willful act of any person of maliciously and surreptitiously inserting, placing, adding, or attaching directly or indirectly through any overt or covert act, whatever quantity of any dangerous drug and or controlled precursor and essential chemical in the person, house, effects, or in the immediate vicinity of an innocent individual for the purpose of implicating, incriminating, or imputing the commission of any violation of the Act. Subsection KK, practitioner, any person who is a licensed physician, dentist, chemist, medical technologist, nurse, midwife, veterinarian, or pharmacist in the Philippines. Subsection LL, protector, cuddler, any person who knowingly and willfully consents to the unlawful acts provided for in the Act and uses his/her influence, power, or position in shielding, harboring, screening, or facilitating the escape of any person he/she knows or has reasonable grounds to believe on or suspects has violated the provisions of the Act in order to prevent the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of the violator. Subsection MM, pusher, any person who sells, trades, administers, dispenses, delivers or gives away to another on any term whatsoever, or distributes, dispatches in transit, or transports dangerous drugs, or who acts as a broker in any of such transactions in violation of the Act. Subsection NN, rehabilitation, the dynamic process, including aftercare and follow-up treatment directed towards the physical, emotional, psychological, vocational, social, and spiritual change, enhancement of a drug dependent to enable him/her to live without dangerous drugs, enjoy the fullest life compatible with his/her capabilities and potentials, and render him/her able to become a law-abiding and productive member of the community. Subsection OO, school, any educational institution, private or public, undertaking educational operation for pupils, students pursuing certain studies at defined levels, receiving instructions from teachers, usually located in a building or a group of buildings in a particular physical or cyber site. Subsection PP, screening test, a rapid test performed to establish potential, presumptive, positive result. It refers to the immunoassay test to eliminate a negative specimen. It is one without the presence of dangerous drugs from further consideration and to identify the presumptively positive specimen that requires confirmatory test. Subsection QQ, trading, transactions involving the illegal trafficking of dangerous drugs and or controlled precursors and essential chemicals using electronic devices such as, but not limited to, text messages, email, mobile or landlines, two-way radios, internet, instant messengers, and chat rooms, or acting as a broker in any of such transactions, whether for money or any other consideration in violation of the Act. Subsection RR, use, any act of injecting, intravenously or intramuscularly, of consuming, either by chewing, smoking, sniffing, eating, swallowing, drinking, or otherwise introducing into the physiological system of the body any of the dangerous drugs. We hope you have enjoyed listening. More audiobooks are coming your way. Please support by clicking the subscribe button and bell icon to receive notifications of our latest upload. A like and share is appreciated. Audio and performance